Okay. Let's talk about a really crazy idea that, if you think about it, isn't so crazy. And then you'll go, well, holy shit, that makes a lot of sense, you know? I never thought about that before. Why hasn't anybody discussed that kind of stuff? Good question. Here we have two awesome Nikkor lenses. They're awesome for different reasons. Now, this one has, by the way, this one's $2,000. This one isn't made anymore. However, you can often find it for $300. It's actually the best resolving, best rendering Nikkor 300mm f4 that Nikon's ever made. $300, $2,000. When this came out, it was astronomically expensive, however. Vibration reduction. Okay. Great autofocus speed. Okay. What if I just wanted to do... Yes, 300mm Timmy is a really, really good lens for portraiture. Believe it or not, you'll often see some hardcore pros using a nice, powerful studio strobe outdoors with the power pack, or just shooting with, shooting out in the field somewhere, bringing that moon in, using the compression of the 300mm. Renders very lovely for portraiture. Gives it a very unique look. Just type in 300mm f2.8 portraiture, or even f4 portraiture. I am not too interested in prime lenses that render like zoom lenses. You see, here we have 8 elements. Yeah. 8 elements. The color saturation and micro contrast on this lens are exquisite. It's daftly sharp. Really good. This element here was 16 elements and 1 phased Fresnel. Someone's going to go, no, it's Fresnel. No, it's Fresnel. Tomato, tomato. Don't correct me on saying Fresnel versus Fresnel. 16 elements. 8 elements. Twice as many here. Geez, let me see. This lens, which is half as big, well, almost half as big, has twice as many elements. Yes, Well, obviously, to get that corner, everything in lens design is a trade-off too, by the way, Timmy. I said Timmy, that's right. Everything in lens design is a trade-off. To get that close focusing at 4.6 feet on this lens, this is also a very lightweight lens. Yes, this is a metal lens. It is heavy. You could actually club people on the head with it, and it'll likely still be working. $2,000 made in China, $300 made in Japan. Hey! Do you know that Chinese people actually prefer to buy stuff made in Japan? You know that, right? People are like, oh, they make good stuff in China now. It's like, yes, they do, Timmy. But do you know that the Chinese people, given a choice, always prefer to buy stuff made in Japan? Even though the Chinese and Japanese don't get along so well, even the Chinese people prefer to buy stuff made in Japan. That's a hardcore fact, too. You can check those facts if you like. Not too fascinated with prime lenses that render like zoom lenses. Why would I own this lens, for example? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, it's extremely lightweight and compact. Yeah. If you want to hang a camera around your neck and go to a sports game and stand there, several hours, this lens isn't going to break your neck. Yeah. So that's a valid part of its cost. None of that ultimately gets quantified into the ultimate image result. If I'm not tracking a Joe Blow, running down the sidelines with a basketball or a football or whatever sort of crazy ball in some sports game, or tracking the speckle-breasted woodpecker that's flitting in the trees, of which this would certainly be the preferable choice, there's no way I would choose that lens. Trade-off. How? Well, this is a newer lens. It must be superior. No, it's not. It is in some ways, but in other ways it absolutely sucks. In some ways, this lens renders worse than some of the like 70 to 300 VRG Nikkor. No. That lens too, by the way, is the same price as this one used. Both of these, this one and that 7300 or $300 used. $2,000 new. This lens came out too. It actually had some significant issues. Nikon had to fix that issue. Serious blur with like the Nikon D810 between like 1/100th of a second, 1/250th of a second. Everything in lens design is a trade-off. If you're thinking that you're going to get prime results out of this lens, it's like, what? Then I would say, what are you going to use this for? I would like to use it for portraiture. It's a prime lens. And I go, yeah, you know what? It's a prime lens in name only. The magic of a prime lens, micro contrast, the color saturation, the bandwidth, the phase, this lens does not have it. This is a prime lens that renders worse, I said worse, than many zoom lenses do in the 300mm range. This lens, however, is compact, it's lightweight, it's fast, it does have high resolution. This would be the perfect pick if I were to go traipsing through the jungle thicket, which I'm not going to do. I mean, let's be honest. You imagine me trekking through the jungle? You probably aren't either. On the sidelines of a sports game, yeah, this lens is it. That's the one lens I'd want to take. I don't particularly like sports. You might be a hardcore sports fan. They ought to call this the Nikkor Sport. Why? Because the only reason to buy this lens is if you are a sport shooter. If you go to the Flickr page for this lens, you'll actually see a lot of bird shooters using this. That's another valid reason. It's compact, you want to go out to the park or something. 300mm f4 is perfectly good enough. And then my answer to you is, you know what, if you want that, then you should buy like a 70-300. It doesn't really weigh much more. It's not really much bigger than this. The 70-300 VRG, and $300 versus $2,000. That's also another zoom lens. And you know what? You know what about that zoom lens? It renders better at 300mm than this does. The autofocus tracking, well, that lens is actually quite fast, but it's still not as fast as this. It's not as fast as this. This lens made in China is not worth $2,000. It is an exquisite lens, however, but it should be called the sports lens. And I'm hardcore against prime lenses that render worse than some zoom lenses. Call me crazy. In fact, I'm not crazy at all. I'm hyperlogical, objective, and existentially, making a statement that's valid. The magic of a prime lens, unless it's like a crappy prime lens, made by, Junk Incorporated, should be the magic of a prime lens. But unfortunately, all lens design is a trade-off. To get this compact little lens, ultra-white little lens, stick a Fresnel element in there, stick a bunch of other corrective, 16 elements. Some people, that's not an issue, as I've already said. They'll just put it in Lightroom and drag the saturation slider, all the way to the right. I don't care, I'm going to fix that in Lightroom. Well, that's a valid choice. I, however, rather have better images straight out of camera. It's not to say I don't edit images. I mean, obviously I do. I love to crop image, especially wildlife. You're going to do bird photography, you're going to crop the hell out of it, and you're going to, drag over a sharpness and, a clarity. Do some sharpening on the image. But this is a prime lens that does not have prime characteristics. This is a zoom lens that is technically a prime lens. Some people don't understand that. I never hear anybody talking about facts like that. It's like, why don't people talk about that? It's a fact. I like this. They don't think about it. Because most people, let's be honest, most people have only ever owned a few lenses. And they test something like this out. It's like, I'm going to test this for a day or so. And it's like, wow, that lens is neat. It's so compact and lightweight. I just love the sharp, and it is a sharp lens. Resolution is really good. That's all most people care about. How sharp is it? How sharp is it? How sharp is it? How sharp is it? They don't care anything about rendering, bandwidth. So I'm going to drag the sliders all the way to the right in Lightroom. That'll fix it. Yeah, okay. Prime lenses exist. If prime lenses had no awesome characteristics, then fuck it. Why should we even make prime lenses? Why make it let's just destroy every prime lens on Earth and go, fuck it. Let's just make a zoom lens for everything, You want a 20mm? Great. We got a 16 to 24mm that'll cover it. You want a 50mm? Great. We got a 24 to 180. Why not just make one zoom lens? Let's make an 8mm to 600mm. That'll fix everything. That way, every son of a bitch owns a camera. Let's have one lens. I got the 800 to 600mm. What lens do you got? I got the 800 to 600mm too. I love my lens. Yeah, well, since it's the only lens made now, it's obviously the best. Is that what we're going to? Why even make low element count prime lenses? That's the nature. That was the reason back when people had brains to own a prime lens. Why do you own a prime lens? You know my zoom lens will do the same shit. And I go, no, it won't. See, that's where you're stupid. That's what you don't understand. Some people can't tell the difference. It's like you give them, you can even show them the images side by side. It's the same thing if you like invite a pig to like a fancy dinner, not literally a pig, but like a intellectual pig. It's like, here's some Chateau Neuf. It's $5,000 a bottle. It has been praised as one of the fine. And here's some crap from Walmart. And you like switch the glasses up, and it's like, and they take a taste test and test the other one. I can't tell the difference. This one's a little more fruity. It's like, oh damn, yeah. There are a lot of people like that that don't know the difference between lenses. They don't. So you'll take an image of both straight out of camera, print them out, same printer. Yeah, they both kind of look the same to me, you know. It's like, really? They do look the same to you? Yeah, they do. They both look pretty good. Some people are tone deaf. Some people can't tell the difference between like a fine wine and a bottle of swill. And some people can't tell the difference between an awesome prime lens and a shitty zoom. Even if it's an expensive zoom. That is the nature of human critters. Two-legged, knuckle-dragging, not much experience, not much forethought. Oh God, that's so insulting. Yes, but is it true? But is it true? Jesus. Thanks for watching. I hope this would shed some light on something that nobody generally seems to want to discuss. Bye.